Okay, getting phone calls trying to film video here. It's nonsense. So where I was at there, this oat straw was rank. It's pretty green. There's a lot of it down in that low bit there. It was just like hay. So the idea behind these bunches is that they're small, and the cattle, when they're grazing on it, it's pretty natural. Cows kind of want to spread and wander a bit while they graze, move kind of here and there, and they want to graze next to the cow they actually like standing next to. So this works good. And if you get more than about 3 cows on one of these little piles, unless they're really comfortable with each other, the low cow on the totem pole, she gets nervous and moves off and goes and picks another pile. So they just kind of sort themselves out. So the real advantage here is I saved baling this straw up because there was too much straw to leave it. This is probably going to be canola this year. And they go and they graze on these little piles, and you know what, even if they bed in them a bit or they leave a little bit behind, you knock through that with the harrow moving along at like the leftovers. We haven't grazed it of course yet, but you knock through that and the leftovers bust up a little bit, and yeah, we saved a pass with the baler, we saved net wrap, we saved coming out here. There's a few leftover silage bales, got to get rid of those. Anyway, yeah, we save coming out here to feed it back out again. Like, there's a lot of cost involved in rolling up bales and hauling them off the field and stacking them and then unstacking them back into a processor or whatever it is you're doing. And this oat straw with the chaff and stuff, like, I've got another video that we shot of testing it. Maybe I'll throw that up there just so you can see sort of how it worked. But yeah, these piles, like in between the piles on the rows there, there's nothing. Like, there's no straw hardly, there's no chaff to find. The odd bit of like the light grain and stuff, it just hangs up in that straw like a net. It catches everything and makes a little pile. So yeah, I think it's gonna work out good. But as you can see, there's many tons of feed out here, and doing this close to the yard's good too, because if the girls need a little extra help out there, if they're not quite getting what they need, it's real handy. Just run out with the old Fargo bale truck and you can roll them out a silage bale or something like that, and kind of supplement them and let them get their roughage out of this. And they seem to be happier when they're out eating naturally and, you know, grazing, head down grazing. They seem to like to do that. Our cows do anyways. We try really hard between the corn and this, and I did some swath grazing this year. I don't think I've put 30 hours on my chore tractor feeding cows, the main herd. We got some calves and stuff that we do. We got some calves and stuff that we held over, then they got fed with the tractor because they're up in the yard close there, so we're pale feeding them a bit and getting them quiet, you know. But yeah, for the most part, that's a big savings when your tractor don't have to run. And I built that buncher deal in my shop there. I didn't come up with that idea. I seen someone else had. I thought, well, geez, I can build one of those. I got a welder. So we used a welder and we did some blacksmithing, and I think it cost me 80 bucks, and I had one built. And she was good to go. It worked. Big heavy counterweights. I made them. We did a little foundry work there, some smelting of wheel weights to make good dense weights that were tucked under the combine and not in the way of everything. And she worked good, and hopefully going to save us some money there. Unfortunately this year we had, well, that's the one thing with this feed that we do. You get your swath graze, and you get your corn graze, and you get your bunch graze, and it's all got to be off the field in a reasonable time so you can go seed again. And what we have here is probably not reasonable time because we're into March and we haven't even touched those bunches because our barley was bananas, and that barley swath grazing was just bananas this year. And it was, I think it worked out to 120 or 130 cow days per acre. I think I did the math on that. It was real good deal though. I didn't expect it to last as long. We ran 130 cows in that field for, it was 120 days or a little better. So here's the bull pasture. We're just going by here. Where I'm taking you to go have a look is, see, we saved all that grass. That's all good native grass there. We didn't use that at all. So now they're out grazing. We didn't use that all last year. So they're out grazing off the tops. Everyone looks good and fat there. Happy. They're happy up there. That's where we winter our bulls. So we're going down into the old mighty Battle River Valley here to go have a look at my new dugout that we got dug. It's a spot down here that kind of was a dugout years ago. Grandpa sort of had her set up, but he never had a way to dig it real deep, so he kind of made a holding spot. You can see out in the middle of this field down here, there's some farmland down the bottom here. Poor old Traco, it tore the road up pretty good. This hill we're getting snotty. This hill got so snotty that you couldn't get up it with a pickup the other day. So I'm going down here first thing while she's still froze. It was minus 15 last night Celsius, so that kept her froze. But you see out in the middle of that field, there's that low spot. So that is the end runoff from this dugout spring that's over here to our right. We're gonna see it coming around the curve here. Well, there's a little fancy drive and some wheel palming took place there. I don't know if you can see the ruts, but okay, so over here on the right, you can see there's dugout country over here. That looks good. So the idea behind this is the neighbors down here, their spot, oh, there's a couple of jumpers running for it. You can't see them on my crappy camera, but there's a few whitetails over there. So yeah, the water runs down across this road over into this slough here, and it runs right through this little runoff here, which is its natural flow. There's a culvert in the road, but you look up over there, way up behind the dugout, that's all spring fed through there. So Grandpa kind of dug a spot, and you can see the ice. We've had some warm weather, but you can see the water's already gathering up in there, and it's pretty marshy. So what we decided to do, because this over here is all fenced, and in the future I want to be able to swath graze on that. So we'll just sneak through here and I'll show you. We're sneaking through here to our dugout. So what we did is we put a dugout in here in the hopes, because this flat over here, you can see it, like, it's getting a little marshy for the neighbor too. So yeah, we'll just go have a look here quick. What we did was we dug ourselves a dugout, and did a good job down here, but made her look great. It's the sides you would think could be a little smoother, but I don't know if you can tell in the camera. We have this phenomenon in the prairies, especially this part of Alberta. You see how that soil's kind of bluey gray? That's what we call loon shit. So it looks like blue clay, which is what it is, but it's a 50-50 blend of blue clay and Battle River silt. And yeah, you get down into that stuff and it's pretty near like quicksand. As quick as you dig it out, it fills in. But look at the water that's already running this on a warm day. So yeah, we dug this trench here, and you see Glenn's built her up because it is going to settle, because the way that loon shit is, and this is what it is. Like, it's froze. It's like a bloody rock. I can't even pick that off the ground. And it's sort of sandy blue mix. It's funny stuff. So anyhow, we buried from there, from the dugout, we buried this line here over to this wet well here. And I asked him specifically to build this up because I know it's going to settle, because we found loon shit. And I wanted my pipe as deep as we can be. So that line is designed from over there to gravity feed into this wet well, which has already filled with water up to the point of my float is working, it looks like. So that's neat. Apparently we don't need a dugout. I guess we hit a spring, which we did do about halfway through, about right there. Whoop. When he dug the hole, she was running water. So hopefully this is real water down here and not a slurry, because if it's a slurry of loon shit, we're, well, yeah, you can see the float down there. If it's a slurry of loon shit down there, then we're gonna have to vac it out and put a bentonite plug in the bottom of it. Anyhow, so we're gonna go for that fence right about there. Drop a new fence line over to here and run right up on this watering unit. Kind of do a thing. We're gonna let this all settle this spring. Then we're gonna go out this way here, cut across, past the dugout, up onto that little high ground. There's that high shelf, that's good soil there. We're gonna fence back, so this dugout will be fenced out because you'll lose a cow in here for sure, as boggy as it gets. Then we're gonna take the fence this way, past that truck, over to there, leave a big gate so the neighbors can get through it, their swather to their field over here. And I got a gate in the corner there, so when we swath graze this out here, the cattle will be able to come through there and have water. Because we do have the river right here, but anyone who's ever watered cows on this river knows that it gets low in the summer, and then your cows go on walkabout. And the moose already help you knocking your fence down enough. So when the cows go on walkabout, then you get on your saddle horse and you go and you get them back, and you can spend lots of time doing that kind of cowboy shit. And I got other cowboy shit to do. I would rather the cows stay where I put them. So I'm gonna finish up. There's some fencing needs done way over by that big dark hill there. There's a spot along our line I gotta fix. And then this field will be good to go for strip grazing or whatever we decide to do with it next winter. That's a wheat crop out there. We just ran out of weather this year. Everyone ran out of weather this year. It was a heck of a thing. That's not mine, actually. That's a neighbor who's been farming it. And next year, well, this year, I guess I should say, this spring we're farming it. So that's awesome. Pretty excited. It's been family land for a long time, and I get a chance to farm it, which is like, nailed it. So anyway, yeah, that's the dugout project. Pretty happy with it. I'm gonna have to touch it up for sure, but this loon shit freezes so fast, and you couldn't dig this in the summertime. Somebody's gonna say that. Why didn't you dig it in the summer? Well, because your track hoe would disappear out there, and then that would be the end of it. You would have a buried track hoe, because this is it's not muskeg, but it's like kind of a boggy quicksand. Yeah. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. This is gonna work. It's gonna work pretty good. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get my lines for that Steiger project today to finish her up. And hopefully we're gonna make the air seeder fan do things while the tractor stays happier with less RPMs. So I'll leave her there. She's a beautiful morning. This kind of weather, I start getting excited because look at those south-facing hills, they're all bared off. And the insanity is just around the bend. It's gonna be great. See you guys later.